Hi. Been a while. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I know it's been like 2 months. I know it's been a while. Anyways, for now, let's not worry about any of that shenanigans. Let's just get into chapter 278 of Rent a Girlfriend. I haven't covered so much. Hi, I'm Faye. I talk about Rent a Girlfriend stuff. Today we're looking at chapter 278. This chapter is a reference to chapter 30 and 31, which are the infamous chapters of Kazuya following Chizuru on Christmas, and this is supposed to be the reverse of that, where Kazuya is the one hanging out with her, but it's not Christmas, and they're shopping together, because that's kind of what was happening then. Without further ado, let's mosey. I'm excited for this chapter. Together with the girlfriend in everyday mode, they arrive at the electronics store to get a TV. Speaking of which, I'll do a mini fashion breakdown for Chizuru's clothes because this is really clever. I really love what Reiji did with her clothes, and it's not only like fashionable and like fitting the mood perfectly, but it actually just kind of captures exactly how she dresses at home while she's out and about, which is really cute. Like the cardigan is literally just her fucking hoodie. It's literally just her goddamn hoodie. It has the same effect. It's so clever. Anyways, we're here, the second floor with the TVs. It's filled with TVs. Why are you talking like we're in some manga? I understand, Reiji. That's the second time he broke the fourth wall, except it was Chizuru this time. Minnie was the one who broke the fourth wall last chapter, where she's like, oh, you can only be dense if you're a 2D character. Now Chizuru's the one breaking the fourth wall. That's interesting. It's almost like he's criticizing that in some ways. Like it's satire. It's satire. That's kind of cute though. Oh wow, there's so many. Whoa! Yo, this is super cute. We haven't seen a cover like this in ages. This is super cute. And I love how she's standing on books and like lifting her legs just to match his height because he's so tall. Kazuya is like my height. He's like 5'11 or 5'10. I want to see the same world he does from the same vantage point. There's so much more I want to know about my housemate. This is her talking. Oh, get it? Because the books and... I'm liking this more and more by the minute. Chapter 278, The Girlfriend Shopping Part 2. Was my other theory correct? Was my other theory correct that the mystery man is actually Kazuya from a different vantage point? I had so many theories. I had so many fucking theories. And one of them was that what if it's just Kazuya from a different vantage point? Of course, we haven't seen what it is yet, so let's just keep going. Bizarre. It's way too cute. This feeling that this is a part of her everyday life is still so fresh. Latest models have such good picture quality. 4K is almost standard these days. It's not like it's just the two of us, but like this is going out together casually as her housemate. When we first met, this would have been inconceivable. Hint. This isn't the time for all that. I should try and raise my boyfriend cred with her. I should focus on doing my job carrying her stuff today. Chizuru just kind of doing her own thing. Kazuya's in his own little world. Which price are you looking at? This one, 235,000 yen. Wow, pricey. Mizuharu's saying pricey. She looks so cute. I love how he just keeps focusing on that. What's the budget? How much are you planning on spending? I've got around 100K available. It's a Japanese-style room with tatamis, but that also includes living expenses, so we'll choose accordingly. I have no intention of buying something so huge, on the order of tens of thousands. And well, whatever's the cheapest. Well, it'll be hard to watch if it's too large. Isn't that good enough? This is the section for large TVs. Let's go that way. Guess I'll look into getting my dream home theater next time. Yeah, well, she is frugal by nature. It's not like she wants something high-end. Is there a low-maintenance woman who's also this beautiful? Even one in this world? This is the 32-40-inch section. Oh yeah, that might work out. This looks practical. Yeah, Chizuru is... Okay, so if you guys haven't picked up on it yet, Chizuru's whole thing is like practicality. Like what's been going on with these chapters is essentially she's finding a balance between practicality and keeping what matters, and just kind of balancing it out. So for example, she doesn't need like the fridge or the shitty washing machine because that's just gonna get in the fucking way. Like those aren't important memories. That's not stuff you cherish. That's stuff you like fucking toss out in your place. But like for example, a phone case that like meant a lot to you, got you through a lot of terrible shit, or maybe the home itself being an important place where you lived, that's something you keep. That's something you take care of. And that's kind of the thing that Chizuru kind of started learning, where when we first visited the home, you know, the girlfriend in the childhood home, Chizuru was trying to get rid of the rocks, which is totally fair, but she was also trying to sell the home. And then what happens is her home stands firm when the earthquake hits, but their apartment buildings fall apart. If she had sold the home, she would have lost this sanctuary that they now have. That was kind of one of the points of that. The thing that matters ultimately will last, and the things that aren't as important will not last. So the apartment building, while it was a good connection point for the characters, it didn't last. It fell apart. But the home, it didn't. So this is kind of coming back to that, where it's kind of showing like Chizuru wants to upgrade her home visually through the TV, like it's literally the thing you look at, you know? That's literally the cover page from last chapter, where it's just like it's the memories you relish and treasure, not the things you toss out. They're usually largely divided into OLED and LSD displays. Which do you want to go with? How are they different? Oh, I know about this. The main difference is the black level of the displays. OLEDs have better color and are good for watching movies and sports, but LSDs are easier to make smaller, so they're just way cheaper. Damn it, she's quick! Look at Kazuya trying to be involved and he can't. Wow, you know a lot about this stuff, Minnie-chan. I asked a friend who knew about this stuff when I was buying my own TV. I'm just saying what they said. Damn it, I wanted to be the one to tell her. Hey, you know so much. You're so cool. I love you. My boyfriend, Cred. Get your head out of the clouds. That's something I'd like to figure out. I'd love to watch movies and stuff on such a beautiful screen, but I'd like something cheap over anything else. I see. She likes movies. It's like I'm getting to learn about the things she likes and the way she sees them, one after the other. It's so exciting. And the other thing is if it has streaming app buttons. It's important to me. Streaming app buttons. You'll get it if you see the remote in most recent models. Various streaming platforms are installed out of the box on TVs. That... Is Reiji selling me on buying a TV? He's so good at this. This is what I love about Reiji. It's like, it feels like he's selling you on buying a TV, but what he's doing that's so clever is this is stuff you would actually interact with and try to figure out when you're buying your own TV. This is literally what it feels like to buy your own TV. This is literally how it is, figuring this stuff out. Like imagine explaining this stuff to your mom or something. Like Chizuru doesn't go out shopping for this kind of stuff. Like she's always been practical about her spending, so now she has extra money to spend, so now she can actually figure this stuff out and interact with people, because she doesn't fucking interact with people. And TV with no internet connectivity are almost unheard of. Anyway, using a browser, you can watch anything. Well, in my own case at least, I load it on my phone, but you can do however you like. Anyway, the TV browser search page really sucks, and one button casting for an app is very convenient. This is the app, yeah. Oh wow, I see. I do have a Getflix subscription. Getflix. I hope they're better than Netflix. And it's not like I don't want to watch YouTube. So it would be nice if I could watch all those on the TV. Is Mizuhara totally unfamiliar with electronics? Or is this really just normal? Are you looking for something? Is that the mystery man? Okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna stop assuming. Are you looking for something? The quintessential electronics store experience, part 2. An employee will come talk to you in 3 minutes or less. Ah, really? Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Oh, we wanted to get a new TV. We have OLEDs starting at 40 inches. Oh, I see. Thanks for the info. Grandma would never buy new things. I see. She was the type of treasure old belongings. She opens up to anyone within a minute. Now that's some communication skills. I bet this guy is thinking she's cute or something. Instincts. Grr. We'll browse on our own for a bit. Thanks a lot. Please call me if you need anything. Huh. That's pretty quick, but it makes sense. That's kind of how it goes. Reclining sofa. Oh. Wow, this is Viella, 75-incher. It's enormous. Were you even listening? It's way too expensive. Wow, it's got 4 HDMI ports. This is so amazing. It's intimidating. They heard we like HDMI, so they put HDMI in your HDMI. This is definitely too much for that room. It's so good. I love it. Jeez. Oh, that's so fucking cute. Oh, that's so fucking cute. That's adorable. Oh, blown away. Just this. So freaking cute. Just the two idiots sitting on the sofa together. All of a sudden, It's like we're married! We're sitting on a couch and watching TV together. Newlyweds suddenly appear on a desolation corner of Toshima. No, my imagination keeps going there no matter how hard I try. He can't help but notice that. The damn curse. I can die right now if it means I can spend such a life with Mizuhara. Let's go. Goodbye, Viala. Already gone, bruh. So lost in his imagination, he literally lost track of her. Bruh. But get wise and spec wise. I actually said but get wise. I'm a fucking idiot, dude. Budget wise. Budget wise and spec wise. These two seem to suit our requirements. I'll pay half. Yo, Minnie's just offering to pay. Minnie's a queen. Minnie is a goddamn queen. It's fine. We're living together only for a month. I do have the budget for this, but it doesn't feel right to not contribute anything. Okay, I'll pay 10K then. Since you're getting a TV anyway, how about we also get a TV stand? Huh? A TV stand? I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. This is a reference to the phone in some ways. Think about it. If Kazuya gets something for the TV... This is so clever. The whole point of the phone is the phone Kazuya pays for it. It's his phone. He got it himself. She got him a case to protect it and keep it steady. That's kind of the symbolic of their rental relationship in a sense, because the rental relationship is kind of like that band-aid, but at the same time it's also symbolic of their actual relationship, the struggles that come with their relationship, everything that it is. That's kind of what the phone case represents, a representative of their rental relationship, but also the real thing. It's symbolic of their support for each other, their gratitude, their love, and the fact that there is a network of love and support. So Chizuru buying a TV and Minnie getting it a TV stand to complement it is super fitting, because it's literally the same thing. The TV stand is like the phone case. It's the thing that keeps it together. It's the thing that gives it that extra bonus to be what it is. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. Huh? A TV stand? I threw away the one from the apartment. Well, the one I have is quite beat up. Let me do at least this much. But is it really okay? We're grateful to you. A constructive suggestion. But this is going to be in the girls' room, so me speaking up here would be out of place. Now that's decided, let's go pick one. Wait, I feel like she's marching to the beat of Yamori-san's drums. Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening. But what is this? What is this feeling? When we're on a rental date, it feels like she's always pulls me around. That's her job. But when I see her living her everyday life, seeing her getting surprised at a TV's price, being unfamiliar with electronics, or being led around by Yamori-san like this, having stuff she simply doesn't know, she feels like a simple, regular person. God damn, she's adorable! If you get a TV stand with drawers, you also have more storage space. You're right. It's decided then, we'll get this one. Yeah, I think this is good. But I don't think we can carry this home. Yeah, let's get it delivered along with a TV. That's the best we can do. Huh? Huh? Delivered? That means... Huh? Alright, let's get the guy who was with us earlier. Does it matter if we call someone else? Wait a sec. Man, we brought something nice today. A delivery? Does that mean we won't be carrying anything home? They're talking about the girls' room, so there isn't much scope for conversation. This is actually really interesting that he keeps bringing up this idea of the girls' room, because the whole thing is that Kazuya feels like he cannot connect because he is a man. There is this inherent disconnect. He does not get to voice his feelings. So that is kind of interesting to come back to this idea between the difference between men and women. The idea that they can't understand each other because they're different. It kind of reminds me of that 80s song that they played in Stranger Things, Walking Up That Hill, or the actual name of the song, which was like changed because they couldn't put it in the radios, A Deal with God, which is like the idea that you want to make a deal with God to swap places with someone, swap places with men and women so they can understand each other better. Minnie-chan, all that info was really helpful. Oh, it was nothing. And here I resolved to act like their luggage carrier. But a man and his pair of hands would help a lot. Vocabulary fucking died there. Totally turned into one. A guy tagging along on a girl's shopping adventure. Teeming with energy he'll do nothing with. Just a suspicious guy at this point. Hands he has nowhere else to put but his pockets. Mysterious man. Oh, poor guy. Reiji literally recreated the chapter. Oh, Reiji literally, he feels out of place. Reiji literally recreated the chapter. My existence no longer has meaning. Oh, man. And I was just fucking talking about this. Jesus. Oh, there's a massage chair here. The quintessential electronics experience part 3. For some reason, there's a massage chair in the same area as the TVs. Wait. What are you doing there? Huh? Come on, let's go. Grandpa used to use massage chairs a lot too, I think. Should I even be here right now? Next time, recliner. A 24-karat smile, an unmatchable warmth. He savors the outing of his dreams. My heart. My heart. What a good chapter. That was super cute. I was right. I was right about the mystery man. It's either the dude who is working there, or it's literally what they said. It's the thing that like you want to know more about your roommate, so they're a mystery. But in that way, it's kind of flipped around where like it says, I want to see the same world he does. So it's framed from Chizuru's end, but it's kind of weird because that's literally what's happening to Kazuya in the entire chapter. He's seeing more about her from this different vantage point, and he's like, wow, she's just a normal girl who doesn't know shit. And that's kind of what makes it super cute. Like that whole interaction, that's what makes it cute, is like she's just a normal girl and Kazuya is just getting to see how normal she really is because she knows nothing about electronics. Like Chizuru is basic. Chizuru is basic. So this cover page kind of just really represents this chapter. It's literally Chizuru standing on a pedestal to match Kazuya, which is super fitting because that's literally what's happening in the chapter. They're on even ground. That's exactly what's going on. They're on even ground in this chapter. They're kind of matching each other. That's kind of the whole idea, is like Chizuru's coming down from this grand pedestal to match Kazuya, which is ironic because she's standing on a book to match him. She's standing up because she's actually shorter than him. So what's cute about this chapter is that initially you probably think to yourself, oh, there's going to be some dramatic shift, some big mystery man. In reality, Kazuya and Chizuru are kind of the mystery to each other. The mystery is actually about Kazuya himself. The chapter starts with, oh, we finally got to the TV place. And Minnie's like, you're talking like you're in some manga. But that's kind of fitting because that's kind of Minnie's conversational thing that happens in this chapter where she's just kind of talking and guiding you along. You're literally being dragged by Minnie at the start of the chapter. That's literally how the entire chapter plays out. Kazuya is literally a third wheel. He's literally watching from afar. It's an intentional mirror of chapter 30 and 31 where Kazuya was watching from afar when he was following Chizuru and Umi. I'll get into that. I think that chapter is extremely misunderstood and often pitched as the wrong thing because everyone's like, look, at the very end, Kazuya is being rewarded for his misdeeds. And I'm like, if that is your interpretation of the chapter, that is how you read it, then you did not understand. It's kind of why this chapter and that chapter are different. That chapter has a bunch of people that are specifically meant to contrast Kazuya. That was kind of the point. This chapter, notice how there is barely any people. It's just them. It's like they exist in a void. It's like they exist in a void and they're just seeing each other for each other. That big moment they had in the last few chapters where they fell on top of each other, that was a big moment for the character. So in this chapter, when they're interacting with one and each other, they're seeing each other for, well, themselves, kind of. Kazuya and Chizuru are like a mom and dad. Kazuya is just the dad who's staying behind, who wants to interact, but he feels awkward. And Chizuru is the mom who's talking to her kid and getting along. And Minnie is just the hyper energetic kid dragging her parents along, and she knows way more than they do. Isn't that literally how it's framed? And then you have them sit right next to each other, and Kazuya says, we're married, we're like a married couple. Get it? That's literally what Reiji's doing. It's totally intentional. When we had the whole thing where they were moving stuff in the house, he references The Shining, and The Shining is about the dysfunction of family. However, he specifically frames everything as the antithesis of all of that. And this is really interesting when you consider The Shining is really different from the book counterpart of The Shining, where in the book it's actually about the perseverance of love. And the same thing happens with those chapters where Kazuya has references to Jack Nicholson's character, but they're total opposites. There's literally a scene where Kazuya does the stare face, the here's Johnny face, except he looks in the opposite direction and he doesn't say anything. It's intentionally framed as different. Kazuya is often framed as the victim in those scenes rather than the killer, which is again very intentional. But what I'm trying to get at with the whole Shining reference is that it's about these two idiots literally being married and doing the married stuff together, except their roles are reversed. Kazuya has a lot of feminine traits to his character, and if you notice too, Chizuru has a lot of masculine traits to her character. For instance, she's always expressionless, she's always distant, and to top it all off, if you actually look through that chapter, she's the one leading. She's the one in the leading role. She's playing the traditional masculine role, and she's the one leading Kazuya along, and she's the one doing all the heavy lifting while Kazuya is the support. Their traditional roles are literally swapped. Kazuya is like a house husband in that sense. And then when they fall on top of each other, Kazuya is still a guy and Chizuru is still a girl. And just because they have these traits that do not match these elements, that doesn't mean they lost their gender roles. That doesn't mean they lost who they fundamentally are. Chizuru is still a girl, Kazuya is still a guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Kind of comes back here in a sense, where now it's more so embracing that idea almost. Mizuhara is too cute. So you'll notice this becomes a repeating pattern for Kazuya. Kazuya is like, Mizuhara is way too cute. So it's interesting how the chapter starts with Kazuya looking at her from a distance, and it kind of ends with him being distant from her, and then she pulls him back in. This idea of how she's dressed and how she's presenting herself is very fundamental and important to Chizuru's character here, because it kind of captures that essence of what she's trying to convey. So when we see Chizuru here, this is a perfect example of the thing she's trying to convey to you. So for example, she's wearing a blouse and she's wearing a cardigan. The cardigan is pretty much just the thing she wears at home. It's just the hoodies. The cardigan is literally just a hoodie. It has that same comfy, relaxed feel, but it feels more refined now. It's like she took the thing she normally wears at home and just refined it a little bit. She's wearing those nice comfy socks and those shoes that perfectly complement that idea. It's all very balanced. And I think that's just kind of what makes it perfect. Like, the shoes are kind of like a more refined version of the Crocs, if you think about it. The skirt is kind of similar to the tiny shorts she wears, but she's outside. She's gonna look nicer now. And of course, the top half being so loose makes the focus around her face rather than her figure. It's not about her figure, it's about being as comfortable as possible while also matching the feeling that's being evoked of what they're doing right now, which is shopping. And of course, she has the nice comfy bag. Minnie, in contrast, is a lot simpler. Minnie is really simple. She's like a little kid. Notice how this part starts with Chizuru teaching Minnie stuff about makeup. Minnie recognizes Chizuru's skills in makeup and looking good and fashionable, and you see how Chizuru is perfectly fashionable while Minnie is more tame. So Chizuru is teaching Minnie about makeup stuff, and Minnie is sharing information with her about makeup. They're starting to kind of get along, become friends. And then in this chapter, what does Minnie do? Minnie is the one telling Chizuru about electronics. They're literally making up for the things that they lack. Literally what Sayuri says to Chizuru. That's literally verbatim what Sayuri says to Chizuru. That's actually what's been happening in all of these chapters, in the birthday arc, and them living together, and Minnie making up for Kazuya being unable to speak, unable to interact, unable to lead. All of these things have been the characters making up for what they lack through the people around them. In many ways, Minnie is kind of that centerpiece, the thing that's kind of keeping it all together in some ways. She's that friend who's kind of making it all work. And that's kind of the charming, beautiful part of this, is like the thing that's keeping them together is their friend who really cares about. She's kind of that heart. She's kind of the soul of all of this. She's the thing that keeps it fun, engaging, charming. She is literally the Sayuri of this part of the story. She's the Sayuri to Kazuya's Katsuhiro. That's kind of the charming element of this, where Chizuru is kind of the kid in this picture in a sense, but Minnie is also the kid. Kazuya and Chizuru are the mom and dad, and Minnie is their kid, and the kid is often the thing that keeps the family together. See how the roles swap in that sense? And of course, you can even swap it another way. Minnie and Chizuru are just Kazuya's moms, or Minnie is like the dad and Chizuru is like the mom. Just cute elements like that, where it's cute how their dynamic just completely swaps and alternates in that sense, where they just change from relationship to relationship like that. And this is very intentional because Reiji did reference a bunch of family-based films. So for example, he referenced The Shining, he referenced Finding Nemo. There's a lot of elements at play here that are definitely correlated to this element of family, and that's very much intentional. Also, with Finding Nemo, Minnie's just Dory. Let's just be honest here, fellas, Minnie's just Dory. So Chizuru contrasts Minnie in that she feels older, a little bit more mature, but Minnie is younger. Minnie is like simpler. There's not much to go off of with Minnie's dress. It's just a really simple thing that she put on. While Chizuru in contrast is she's not trying to be fashioned out. She's not trying to like look as amazing as possible. No, she's keeping it simple because that is the point. She's still with family and friends. She's going out shopping. She's interacting. Also, her not knowing much about electronics and what to get for people actually does come back with the whole Umi thing. Remember when she was shopping with Umi, she didn't know what to get for Kazuya. The whole point of chapter 30 and 31 when she was with Umi is it was intentionally framed as a mix between her rental persona and her real self. That was kind of the idea behind that, where Chizuru was actually still playing a role even then. Literally speaking, she was practicing with Umi playing a role. She was literally practicing a role with Umi. That was 100% intentional by Reiji in terms of framing. She wasn't actually being her real self with him. She was still acting. This is the real Chizuru. This is the real Chizuru being real with Kazuya. So when we're interacting with her in this chapter and her being dressed down to earth and yet kind of mature, that's kind of the whole idea, is like she doesn't have that sense of mystique she usually does. She's just normal her, and that's still very attractive to the Kazuya. But when you start the chapter, there's this intentional framing where Chizuru looks very beautiful, almost like a picture, a perfect picture, and Kazuya just looks at her from a distance, mesmerized. He's like a little kid, he's all bubbly, and he says this feeling that this is a part of her everyday life still so fresh. I'm seeing something new again. It's not like it's just the two of us, but like it's going out together casually. It's the idea that we're interacting casually. By the way, this is just a date. This is just a date. This is just a family date. This is literally what this fucking is. When we first met, this would have been inconceivable. Yes, that's exactly what was going on. When they first met, this doesn't seem like a normal thing that would happen between them. That doesn't really match their characters, and it literally gets shown in chapter 30 and 31. It doesn't feel like something they would go and do together, even though it was their shared secret. It was important to them. But Kazuya tries to distance himself for that. He doesn't want to think about these thoughts. He wants to think about what he can do. This is important for Kazuya's character because he always tries to think about what he can do in contrast to what he can't do. So they're looking at price, and the idea of price is important. Wow, pricey. Something Kazuya didn't get to experience. Like Kazuya's never heard her say pricey. It's silly, but it's cute. And also look at how refined she is. Mizuhara is saying pricey. She looks so cute. He says it again. In the span of like 2 panels, he says it again. She's so cute. This is going to be a repeating factor. But the reason he says she's so cute gets changed every time. The meaning behind she looks so cute gets more interesting the more you go. It's interesting because Minnie's the one leading, so Kazuya isn't the one interacting here, and he feels like he can't interact here. But what makes it cute is that he hears Minnie, kind of agrees with her, and he just kind of lets her lead along. But he doesn't want to say things and interact more. So this is kind of symbolic of Kazuya's current position, where Kazuya literally feels like a third wheel in his own story. That's kind of very fitting because, you know, 218, that's literally what happens. If you look at the infamous 8 pages that everyone loves to hate about, don't get me wrong, it's not like I like those pages. I'm just saying, like, there is meaning behind them. That's what makes them good. But if you look at those pages, Kazuya literally starts to fade out of existence. He literally starts not mattering. That was the kind of point of that, where Kazuya actually doing something is what got him hurt, and Kazuya is afraid to get hurt again. Pretty interesting considering that's exactly what was going on with Chizuru's character prior to the movie arc, where she was afraid to get hurt again. And then the character started kind of doing the same thing, where Kazuya wanted to act on his feelings, Chizuru was afraid to get hurt, Kazuya gets hurt, then their roles get swapped. Now Chizuru has experienced the hurt, and she knows it's more painful to lose everything than it is to keep running away from the hurt. So she starts facing it. She starts facing her pain, the sorrow, the sadness, because it's better than literally staying in the cave, literally staying in her cave and not doing anything. In contrast, Kazuya has been hurt so badly, he's traumatized now. So Kazuya doesn't want to act. Their roles have been swapped, because at the start of the series, Chizuru didn't want to act all that much, even though she was an active professional role in her life. She's the one who was kind of leading. She's the heart of the story. She also didn't really act on her feelings all that much. She constantly retained the boundaries. Now it's flipped. Chizuru's the one trying to break the boundaries. Kazuya's the one who constantly tries to reinforce the boundaries, even though he's the one who wants to break them. again, their roles have literally been swapped. And this is intentional. I'll explain like a little theory that I have a little bit later about why this is intentional. So they talk about budget. Chizuru says she has about 100K, which is about $700 or something like that. Not that much money, but it is a decent amount to buy a new TV. But then she says that also includes living expenses. So this is kind of her total. That's the kind of money she has in terms of living expenses. So she's willing to spend that to buy a new TV. Guess I'll look into getting my dream home theater next time. That's kind of a hint. Reiji tends to insert these kinds of meta jokes into the story where he'll just be like, oh yeah, this is totally relevant to the story, but I'm not gonna explain how it's relevant to the story. In this case, it's like Chizuru's home dream theater is also fitting because she likes movies, and you see her like double blush. Like, look at this, she's double blushing. She really wanted the double home theater. Like, whenever Chizuru closes her eyes like this is Chizuru trying to hide something. Or trying to be professional or like focused, because she's actually very expressive, but she constantly tries to restrain it because that's what Chizuru does. She tries to be sensible. She tries to be smart about her approach, but she's actually very expressive and emotional. Is there a low maintenance woman who's also this beautiful, even one in this world? This is important because Kazuya is kind of putting Chizuru a bit on a pedestal. Kazuya idolizes her a bit, and that doesn't necessarily inherently mean it's a bad thing. He doesn't understand her for this reason, but it's okay to like look up to someone, even if you love them and think they're amazing and awesome, perfect, you know? That's not totally bad. But in Kazuya's case, it's kind of made him lose track of Chizuru, just a tad. So this is him kind of finding that again, kind of remembering that again, because he's literally looking at his trauma and removing it. And I love how Reiji does this, where it's super relaxed. There isn't anything bad. There isn't like a big dramatic event or anything like that. Like, I'm betting a lot of people when they saw Mysterious Man, including myself, thought, oh, it's Chizuru's dad, or it's something related to her job, only to be proven completely wrong. This is all relaxed. Point of this is to be relaxed because they have removed the negative elements. It's intentional that Minnie's character is here because Minnie is a representation of a friend. You got a friend in me. Da, 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 da. The whole point of Minnie's presence is that Minnie and Sumi essentially contrast everything that was going on in Paradise intentionally so. They were not present in Paradise. They did not appear in Paradise. Them being here now is a representation of all the fun, the relaxed stuff, everything you actually want in your life is now the things you're actually including in your life. Minnie being one of those things. You want a friend like Minnie. You want a pal like Minnie who will fucking get you, who will support you through all the dumb shit. He will support you when everything is going fucking wrong, because that's the kind of pal Minnie is. And Chizuru says, how are they different? She immediately tries to understand. This is actually really good. Chizuru has a growth mindset. She doesn't say she doesn't know. She doesn't act like a tsundere or any of that. She just wants to know. What's the difference? I don't know. That's kind of Chizuru's whole MO right now, is she's getting out of her comfort zone and trying to learn and change, evolve. So in this instance, even though she doesn't know anything, she's just like, okay, just tell me the difference so I can understand better. And Kazuya wants to get involved here. This is super cute. Kazuya gets excited. He's like, I want to get involved. I want to say something. I know. Minnie instantly beats him to the punch because he stutters, because he didn't say his thing. And that's kind of important. That's kind of one of Reiji's things in the story, where whoever acts first is the one who's going to reach his goal first. And that's kind of what happens here. Minnie is the one who beats him to the punch. In some sense, you can interpret Minnie as a kind of challenge for Kazuya, a challenge to kind of get out of his comfort zone, act the way that he wants to act. But in another way, you could also understand that Minnie, she's a girl. She gets to play this role and do whatever the heck she wants to do because she's a girl. So in some ways, it's fascinating how Minnie is a challenge to Kazuya, and it's now about him finding his voice again. That's why the chapter literally starts with Minnie leading, Chizuru behind her, and Kazuya to the side. Wow, you know a lot about this stuff, Minnie-chan. Minnie and Chizuru are getting closer. This is really interesting because Minnie and Chizuru have really been developing a relationship in this time. And recently we found out when Minnie's birthday was, which was actually April 8th. And this is really interesting considering that actually happened right as they were moving. April 7th is when the moving arc kind of started. It's when Chizuru first takes Kazuya to her old home. They come back home and their house is gone. And then Minnie talks to Kazuya and she's like, let's go drinking. That's April 8th. That was Minnie's birthday. And Minnie spends it with Kazuya drinking, talking about love, talking about all that silly shit, and they're just having fun together. And then Chizuru joins them and they start drinking and arguing with them. It's really cute that Minnie spends all her birthday with these two without telling them it's her birthday, and she puts them first. Because she ends up putting them first, because she gives them the present of being present in their lives and giving a shit, what happens is that she gets a home for it. Chizuru literally tells her, hey, come live with me. And this kind of comes back in this chapter, where when Minnie's interacting with Chizuru this entire time, she's really present, she's interacting with her, she's talking to her, she's really energetic and excited and having fun. Even though she gets distracted occasionally, she's still present in the moment, and Chizuru is now taking Minnie getting distracted and losing herself in this stuff in strides, because that's just part of Minnie's character, and Chizuru does not judge her for it. That's what makes this super cute now, is that Chizuru fully sees Minnie's character. Chizuru fully understands her, and now they're actually friends. Minnie says, I asked a friend who knew this stuff when I was buying my own TV. I'm just saying what they said. Minnie, I'm just regurgitating what the YouTuber said, because that's literally what Minnie does. It's so good. Wow, you know so much. You're so cool. I love you. And then this is just literally Kazuya just processing the fact that, oh yeah, she likes movies. It's like I'm getting to learn about the things she likes and the way she sees them one after the other. It's so exciting. Minnie is like, here, you get to watch more things if you get this. Minnie kind of gets her. She knows what she likes in that way. And TV with no internet connectivity are almost unheard of. Chizuru looks at her old TV. Sorry, what? Oh, wow, I see. I do have Netflix subscription, and it's not like I don't want to watch YouTube, so it would be nice if I can watch all of those on TV. This is also possibly hinting at the fact that they might sit together as a family and watch things, which would be super fucking cute. It would be so fucking cute. It would also be even cuter if they get a TV and Minnie like sets up a gaming console and they end up fucking gaming and Chizuru doesn't know how to fucking game, because Chizuru doesn't know any of this shit. So it'd be oh my god. Reishi creating some wholesome as fuck scenarios with the TV and like the movies and all the shit. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Like, and I definitely think they're gonna like start dating soon, so it'd be even cuter if they start dating and they start doing this stuff too. Oh man, that's gonna be adorable. Anyways, is Mizuhara totally unfamiliar with electronics? Kazuya just like, really? She doesn't know any of this stuff? What the hell? And then this is the interesting part. Grandma would never buy new things. Oh, I see. She was the type to treasure old belongings. So this is kind of interesting because it's coming back to that idea between the contrast between Chizuru and her mom. So a big theme of Chizuru's character is essentially wising up and being different from her past. Kind of came back to that idea of how grandma treasures the past because the past is what ties her to her daughter. The past is what ties her to the things she has lost. Chizuru, in contrast, tries to treasure the things that really matter, but she doesn't need every single little thing. This is how Chizuru already contrasts Sayuri and how she contrasts her mother. She's not like either of them. She's not even a mixture of the two. She's more than that. Sakasi says she opens up to anyone within a minute. Now that's some communication skills. I bet that guy's thinking she's cute or something, which is really funny because that's what he's been saying this entire fucking time. I'm like, Kazi, you fucking idiot. Minnie's just like, oh, we'll browse on our own for a bit. Thanks a lot. He's like, oh, please call me if you need anything. And they just leave. The guy doesn't even say anything. They just kind of leave him and they piss off. I was like, okay. So she says, whoa, this is Biella, 75-incher. It's enormous. And it makes me wonder why like that gets such a big focus, because it's like, oh, it's just a really big, nice TV. But Minnie wants something big and nice and fancy. She's like, yeah, fancy, cool shit. And she just kind of ignores them. So that's kind of the funny thing about Minnie's characters. When she sees something cool, big and glowing and fancy, she's like, oh, whoa, attention. That's got my attention. Like, I'm just gonna ignore you two. So this thing is what triggers them sitting right next to each other. And it almost kind of feels like foreshadowing in a sense, where there's probably what's gonna be like, where they're gonna sit down together and they're gonna watch a movie. Were you even listening? It's way too expensive. Whoa, it's got 4 HDMI ports. This is so amazing. It's intimidating. They heard we like HDMI, so they put HDMI in our HDMI. What the fuck? Chizuru exhausted and they just sit together, and this shot, it's so good. What a good fucking shot. It's so cute. It's literally framed like a TV screen. It's framed like a picture, like a TV screen. When we started this with a TV screen, it's literally framed like that intentionally so. They just look like a perfect couple. They just look like a couple that just perfectly sit right next to each other and super cute. Kazuya's like, all of a sudden, it's like we're married. He's like processing it all of a sudden. So it's like we're sitting on a couch watching TV together. Newlyweds suddenly appear on a desolation corner of Toshima. My imagination keeps going there no matter how hard I try. And then he looks at her legs. He's like, oh, he focuses on the horny. And guess what happens? I could die right now if it means I could spend such a life with Mizuhara. He's imagining something. And imagining something, he loses track of her. She's already left. It's kind of coming back to how the movie arc was, where the movie arc was kind of their golden time. And it's like, if you want something to stay in your life, you make it stay in your life. But that's the thing, is like Minnie's just kind of living in the moment. That's kind of the contrast between these two. She's just looking to the future. Minnie's living in the moment. She's like, I don't care that I'm only here for a month. I still want to contribute. This is fitting because now Chizuru is getting this from Minnie, because Minnie is now contributing too. Remember what happened during the birthday arc? Minnie gives her a gift, and then Kazuya contributes. So that would be kind of interesting. But then, if Kazuya uses his wallet, we're gonna see the condom. And that's exactly what Reiji set up at the start of this arc. That was the whole point. We start the arc by Kazuya watching horny shit, and the horny is literally overflowing out of him. And then he gets a condom, and the condom goes into his wallet. And then right after, Chizuru walks in, is like, you wanna go shopping. Maybe the cashier sees it, maybe Chizuru sees it or something, and Kazuya's just like, oh, it's just in case. Or it could create that sense of drama between the characters. But I don't think we're going any sense of real drama direction for Kazuya in the sense that like he's doing anything bad. I do think it's going to be important in maybe exploring these elements of secrets between the characters, because Reiji essentially set up this secret for Kazuya's character, which is a misunderstanding, of course, in Kazuya meaning mommy, and in Kazuya going to that DVD store, which is really interesting because both of these things he's kept secret from Chizuru, just as Chizuru has kept secrets from him. So it'd be interesting to see that maybe come out in some way. I could see that maybe coming out through the whole condom thing, or I could see the condom thing being something cute and something to just kind of talk about, because they're really just kind of building to the characters just kind of having sex at this point. Kazuya again looks at her from a distance, and he's mesmerized by Chizuru, but for a totally different reason. Chizuru has always led him. Chizuru was always in the leading position. Even when they were literally cleaning the house, Chizuru was in the leading position. But when I see her living her everyday life, seeing her getting surprised at a TV's price, being unfamiliar with electronics, or being led around by Iomori-san like this, having stuff she simply doesn't know, she feels like a simple, regular person. He sees that she's a normal person now, not something that's so great it's above him. So it's removing that element of masculinity of you need to be a certain way in order to be with someone, and it's just about understanding and truly seeing your partner, which is really interesting because the whole theme of Kazuya and Chizuru in that infamous chapter is the idea of being seen. Kazuya is literally a bystander in that story. He is not seen. It feels like Chizuru cut him off in that time, just as Kazuya didn't really interact with her. And they both regretted it. They both regret it in that time. Chizuru looks at him from afar, just as Kazuya looks at her from afar. She understands where Kazuya is coming from because she did the same thing. She looked at him from afar and she didn't interact. And that was kind of the point of that scene, where Kazuya feels like he fucked up. He's only going to be seen for his mistakes, his failures. In contrast, Chizuru sees him for him. She tells him you fucked up, but she also tells him you're not defined by your failures. You are not your mistakes. You can be better. You can always be better. And that was the point of the phone case. The phone case reminds Kazuya to be better, and it always comes back in those important moments. That was like the last real time Kazuya made a big mistake, because after that, because he got the right push, because he got the right support and understanding, that phone case constantly reminds him to be better, and he always pushed himself to be better. So just understanding the fact that Kazuya doing something wrong and him being called out on doing something wrong doesn't necessarily correlate to the entirety of his character. In contrast, Chizuru actually sees him, Chizuru actually looks at him. And that's the irony of that scene, is like Kazuya is actually trying to improve and change, but all people see is the mistake that he made, not the entirety of his character. Reiji perfectly does this contrast here, where Kazuya's presence in the image is like looking at a picture, but he's in the picture. But then he realizes he can't do anything, because he was brought here to carry stuff, but now he can't. And now he's actually framed in that negative light.
See, you can totally get where Kazuya is coming from here, because he didn't do anything.
He just tagged along. He didn't do anything. He just has a bunch of energy. Like, they literally say it here. There's a bunch of energy. He didn't do anything. He didn't even talk to them. He's just following along, and they didn't even interact with him. So naturally, Kazuya just feels like out of place. He didn't do anything. This is super fitting because if you go back to Kazuya's character and much of what he's been going through, he literally feels like he can't do anything in this story. He can't be involved. He can't voice himself. He can't be a normal guy. It's a criticism of masculinity in many ways. If he's a normal guy, if he's expressive, he'll be unloved. The thing that got him hurt was his movie arc version. Him getting involved is what got him hurt. That's why he's not acting. That's why he's not doing anything. That's why Kazuya's been very passive in this time. He's afraid to express himself because those are the things that he hates about himself. You always have value even if you can't contribute. But all Kazuya sees is just what he needs to contribute. That's part of his trauma, is that because he can't contribute, he's not good enough, he doesn't matter. But Chizuru notices Kazuya is a little down. She looks at him and she involves him. She's like, no, come back. Chizuru is saying she enjoys his company, and the way the panel is framed is specifically to show her full figure, including the clothes that she wore. It was for him. She enjoys his company. It's telling him, you're okay to be here. We enjoy your company. That's why when Kazuya questions it in the end, that's the point. Should I even be here right now? That's kind of the point of this scene. Kazuya questioning this idea and then coming back to it is bringing back this idea that yes, you are allowed to be here. You're allowed to exist. You're allowed to have meaning by just being here. That's kind of the point. Even though you're not doing anything, that's totally fine. It's the same exact theme of chapter 30 and 31, except this is like him actually being present in her life without any barriers. Removing rental is a core important factor in this element here. Kazuya was literally getting third wheeled, but he's the focus of this in many ways for Chizuru. Chizuru wants him here. So she notices him, she looks at him, and she tells him, what are you doing there, huh? Come on, let's go. Coming back to this idea of being seen. Oh my God, I love this picture so much. I love this picture so much. It just looks so natural. It looks so cute. And that smile, a 24-karat smile. What a good description. It's such a cute smile. I love this smile on her face. You're being seen, you're being involved. Kazuya being seen and present and actually mattering. Because everything up until now has been framed around Kazuya's character, which I think is really important. It all being about Kazuya just makes a lot of sense because that's kind of the whole idea here, where it's about him overcoming his trauma, just as in the birthday arc is about Chizuru overcoming her trauma. So Chizuru has now started to overcome elements of her trauma. Now it's about Kazuya overcoming his trauma, feeling a little bit more confident in himself. Where in chapter 272, it literally addresses the trauma and the fear that Kazuya has. So now it's like about actually addressing it and moving forward. And this is, we're literally taking the steps piece by piece. First one, they fall on top of each other. That's step one. Step two, they go shopping together. Step three, being seen. This is literally all just about friends and family. Chizuru is shopping for the new TV so she can share it with these people, so she can interact with these people in their family. So even though she says something like, oh, you're only staying here for a month, she's still doing it so she can use that TV to interact with these people more, to be a part of this family more. So that is kind of interesting and just really cute in that sense. She's creating an area where she can spend time with her family, and having a TV in a place, you have that TV, you have a big TV like that to share it with people. This whole theme about this chapter is about hanging out and interacting with other people. The whole point of bringing Kazuya with her is specifically so Kazuya can just be with her. That's the whole point of that stupid line she says where a man's pair of hands. She doesn't actually need him because he's useful. She just uses that as an excuse to come shopping with her. That she asks him, do you want to go shopping first? Not because I need your help. Notice that part where she says, do you want to go shopping? Not, I need your help to go shopping. She tries to get him to come with her. That was the point of that line. Come with me. I want you to come with me. She tries to give him a reason to come. But in reality, what she actually wants to say is, I want you to come with me. Just these elements of family and friends and interacting with each other and wanting this person to be involved more into your life, getting to know them more, Kazuya getting to see different sides of her, and her just getting to interact with him, her getting to be with him. So it'd be interesting if they end up buying a recliner. That'd be super cute. So they just have like a mini home theater and Kazuya buys the recliners. All right, fellas, that's the reaction video. This is gonna be how the format's kind of gonna go. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. I'm basically gonna do a reaction followed by first impressions. Then when the clean scans come out, I'm hoping to do like a remake of the reaction, where I pretty much insert those fun edits I like to do. Those might end up being a little bit inconsistent. We'll see how those go. And then afterwards, I want you guys to go and check out the review that I'll hopefully post a little bit after, because my reviews tend to be long and complex and I tend to have a lot to say. And then being combined with a reaction tends to kind of just shoot me in the foot because I have so much to say, but I also end up ending the reaction. You get it. It's too much work. Okay, bye. Hey fellas, so I know this video is probably not going to get uploaded on time, and tomorrow, today's Friday by the way, tomorrow the spoilers come out, so what the heck, I didn't get to include the thing I wanted to include in this video, and I'm probably not going to finish the review segment that I wanted to make for this video because, well, it's super late and by Monday we're already getting a new chapter. With that being said, the reason I'm making this part is because I want to share a quick theory that I have in correlation to this chapter and what's going to be happening next. 1. Remember what Minnie said last chapter where she said something big might be happening this time, and Kazi's like, fuck you, why are you saying some dumb shit? But in reality, Minnie is right. Something is going to happen now because something did happen in chapter 31 where Chizuru gives him the phone case, and the phone case ends up being a huge turning point for the characters. However, it's what happens after the phone case that's different. Let's go look at this real quick. So Kazuya realizes Chizuru gives gifts to other people because this is a gift she gave to him while she was her normal self. But then he looks it up in correlation to rental. Do you see the issue? She gave him the gift specifically for him, not in correlation to rental, but Kazuya thought it was in correlation to rental, thus an issue arises. There's a misunderstanding happening between the two where Kazuya brings it up and Chizuru's like, well, I am their girlfriend, what's wrong with me giving them gifts? Chizuru is like, what's going on? I have to get something clear. Are you in love with me? This happens right after that chapter. So one thing I could definitely see happening in the next few chapters, or maybe in the next chapter, is Chizuru or Kazuya, someone does something that removes the element of rental, or possibly causes a misunderstanding in secrets coming out and why those secrets were happening. This is the important element because rental actually does get brought up quite often in the past few two chapters. And the idea that what they're currently going through has nothing to do with rental, constantly being reinforced to Kazuya in these chapters. In fact, it's something that very much happens in this particular chapter in the very end. Kazuya realizes he doesn't need to do anything in particular. His gift is him being present. So that is an interesting element here. However, what if that comes back in some way? Chizuru possibly gives him a gift. Kazuya possibly gives her a gift. Something happens and that results in them needing to remove the element of rental. I could see something kind of the opposite of this happening, where not in the sense that, oh, she's not going to ask him, are you in love with me, or something like that. What I mean is that what this scene did is Kazuya answers no. And Chizuru immediately jumps to, we have a professional relationship, let's maintain this professional boundary. What happens after? You see them walking together. Kazuya is unhappy, Chizuru is happy, maintaining the status quo while Kazuya is ready to break it, and there's an issue happening. And this is kind of reversed now, don't you think? Chizuru is the one who wants to break the status quo, and Kazuya is afraid to push past it because of his past mistakes. So now that we're removing this element of Kazuya's past mistakes, Kazuya is loved for who he is, that element can very much be tackled, and we can have some sort of change happening for Chizuru in removing the element of rental. Because she has been doing fine and we haven't actually seen her work in these entire time. So what if maybe her acting gig is taking off? Chizuru does get a call at the very beginning of the chapter in relation to work. What's happening? Something in relation to Chizuru's job is getting revealed in the next few chapters, or possibly the next chapter. But this is where we introduce something important. The little shit. Ruka comes back. So I am betting Ruka is definitely going to come back in the next few chapters. However, this is going to be important for the characters to tackle. The reason I think Ruka is going to come back is because of the element of secrets. 1, Kazuya has been keeping a lot of secrets, especially to the people around him and where he lives. If I recall correctly, he told Ruka he's staying at his family's house, and Ruka could very much just call the family and find out that that's not the case. Very fitting considering what she does after this, which is looking at Kazuya's phone and finding a meeting spot in relation to his family. And Ruka, through the text, finds out about what's going on. However, there's an interesting element at play here. The whole idea of sex and physical intimacy has been at play a lot between Kazuya and Chizuru, and this is the element Ruka understands all too well. This is the thing she can kind of correlate to actual relationships, the physical nature of love. And this is the thing she ends up kind of learning by the end of this arc. So what I can see end up happening is we reintroduce Ruka into the fray, and Chizuru actually ends up talking to her instead of doing what she does at the end of this chapter, which is actually separate from Kazuya, focusing on her grandmother. Kazuya is her new light. Kazuya is her new focus. So anything like this happening would actually make Chizuru want to intrude and resolve the issue. And this is a big theory I have that I definitely want to make a proper video about, that Reiji has been very much building to, and it's the theory that Kanojo mo Kanojo at this time is ending within 4 chapters. If you guys don't know, Kanojo mo Kanojo is kind of like the sister series to this series, and it kind of goes in the opposite direction where it's all polyamory and everything, where pretty much the guy's dating all of the girls, and Hiroyuki, the guy who works on the series, constantly does like the author notes for Reiji, and Reiji does the author notes for him. They're super buddy-buddy. And with that series ending, it kind of signals a new direction for this story as well. So in the next 4 chapters, I 100% see something crazy happening, and this is not by chance. Reiji has been very quiet on social media, and all of the stuff he shared has been directly correlated to this idea of perspective, the shift in perspective. Not to mention this chapter has this whole theme of perspective going on right now, and then of course the shift and removal of rental. And Reiji even specifically references chapter 229, which is the chapter where Chizuru cannot tell Ruka why she did what she did. And now Chizuru has kind of reached the point where she started to accept herself and accept and understand her feelings. So reintroducing Ruka into the fray and having Chizuru and her talk, including that element of empathy, and then transitioning into other elements like the family, makes a lot of sense. Now this is just the abbreviated version of my theory. I have a lot more to say, but considering how Kazuya separates from Chizuru, and Chizuru doesn't react to Kazuya separating from her, and now possibly reintroducing Ruka and introducing this element, especially reinforcing to Kazuya in the next chapter that he matters, just like she does at the end of 31, that this is about him, that he matters. So this idea of bringing that chapter back, specifically referencing it, then bringing up the idea of "are you in love with me" would be an interesting direction, especially considering Kazuya still has the condom, which I do kind of mention Kazuya possibly pulling out his wallet. In the process we see the condom, so there is that element coming back into play. And I could definitely see Chizuru's vantage point and what she sees about Kazuya being told to possibly Ruka. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. Just Ruka and Chizuru having a sit down talking, especially considering they've had elements where they've shown they could be friends if they just talked it out. This also makes sense considering Chizuru talked to Minnie, Chizuru talked to Sumi, and these are the 2 people who have supported her, so now Chizuru talking to Ruka just seems to make a lot of sense. Yeah, that's kind of roughly it. I do want to talk about the anime. I think there's a lot to say in regards to the anime. I also do want to talk about all the other chapters that I kind of just trimmed through and talked about here and there. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. I've been Fate. Please subscribe if you enjoy the video. Hit the like button, the bell icon, do all that fun stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Remember, that's Mosey.